everybody. I'd like to call this regular board meeting of the John A. Logan College Board of Trustees to order. This on roll call, please.
Becky Borksmiller.
Here.
Brent Clark. Bill Kilquist.
Here.
Mandy Little. Here. Glenn Pichard.
Here.
Jake Rowland.
Here.
Ferris McAvoy. And Aaron Smith.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It was our opportunity for public comments or questions. If anybody is here to ask a question or to deliver a comment to the board, now is your opportunity. Hearing and seeing none. Item 3, the presentation, I believe, has been postponed. Is there anything replacing it, or are we just okay? We'll move to item 4, Board of Trustees reports, beginning with the chairman's report. I will simply note, not really to the board, but to everybody here, Thursday night at Mountain Dew Park. I'm struggling to call it that every time. I got the old name burned in my head, but thank you from the Board of Trustees to the folks who make the college, the wheels turn every day. And so this is our thank you to you. Hope that you enjoy that, but please talk to Pixie for tickets. And since Ferris McAvoy is not here, I will also note, I'll read a report that she gave, but you'll see in here a survey that she has requested that the board fill out. I think she wants it returned to her, but I will, do I know that correctly? She's not here to.
I believe that's what she was wanting.
I will note, I believe.
You can drop it off to Pixie.
Or it can be dropped
I
off.
think that's in the cover letter. It might
Okay.
say that.
So,
If Betsy's here, I think you can drop it off here and make sure the rest gets it.
okay.
I would just remind everyone that your answers will be subject to FOIA. So just keep that in mind as you're reviewing and answering.
Understood. That concludes, oh, yes, sir.
I heard that's a double header. We have stuff starting at.
It is a double header. Steve has contacted, there's Steve back there. He talked to them this afternoon. So your ticket is good for both games if you want to go to both games, right, Steve?
Yes.
Yes. But then we will actually officially start, I believe, at the 7:30 game.
Okay.
So they're gonna play 270.
2:30.
The 9-inning games are going about 4 hours, right?
That's what Lauren said,
Yeah.
and so hopefully that'll speed up. The second game, anywhere from 7:30 on, but you can go anytime from 5:30.
Perfect. That concludes my report. Barring any questions, we'll move on to item B, Athletics Advisory Committee, Dr. Clark and Trustee Kilquist.
I have very little to report. The camps are doing well. We're getting ready to welcome the student athletes back to Logan for the next upcoming year, and that's all we have to report.
Any questions of Trustee Kilquist?
Bill, I'd like to say Savvy attended she was scheduled to attend 2. She ended up only attending 1 due to illness, but the softball camp that she attended was phenomenal. They were able to rotate the girls inside and outside, which was really nice. They had a huge attendance. And Taylor and I were talking about the benefit of the facility is they'll be able to offer those in the winter as well, because they can just take them inside and not have to worry about the climate. And then I showed up at the basketball one just to pick up the t-shirt that we had for Savvy, and that one was really well attended as well. It was just the junior high side, but I would like to commend both coaches on putting together very successful camps. And all the kids that I know that attended the softball camp had nothing but great things to say about it as well, so.
And I will pass that on to the coaches.
Moving on, item C, Building and Grounds and Safety Committee, Trustees Rendelman and Kilquist.
No, the Board Building Committee meeting, the following update is provided. CTC renovation construction EDA grant, H building HVAC program. This building renovation is expected to be completed in September. Welding, CNC manufacturing building, the roofing membrane has been installed and exterior wall panels are expected to be installed in the next few weeks. Vocational building, automotive programs, work is focused on the interior of the building. The new paint booth will be installed in the coming weeks. It's coming right along. West Lobby expansion, Logan Hall CDB project. Repair work is in planning with the contractor. This work is expected to begin in September. Concrete foundation work is underway and will continue over the next few months. In February, there was a car search due to construction error. Lighting and audio equipment in the auditorium was damaged beyond repair. As a result, JAC received new lighting and audio equipment at no cost. So that made it very, very nice. It was. We have been having some meetings. In fact, I think, when's our next meeting with CDB? So on
It's
these,
about 2 more weeks, I think, Jay.
that 4 out? Okay, anyway. But we're trying to keep this project, moving along, not this Logan Hall project, but, every time we think things are going in the right direction, things seem to come to a screeching halt. So anyway, just my opinion. D-wing roof replacement, BHS funding. This project is nearly complete. The contractor received defective metal panels and is waiting for new panels to be delivered. It's up on the north end, right? That roof work up there?
Yes.
Okay. They offered pond dredging. This work is completed this week. Approximately 3,000 tons of sludge are removed from the Mirror Pool and the Hofford Pond. The surrounding area has been cleaned up and seeded, and it looks very nice. And if you had an opportunity to drive by there, it's pretty deep hole in the ground now, right? That pond. So anyway, they did a good job on that. That's all I have. Bill, you got anything? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just mentioned that meeting is next Tuesday.
Yeah, okay, I thought it was coming up
Yeah,
pretty
sorry.
quick.
I just didn't have my calendar out.
Yeah. Okay, I plan to be there.
Any questions of trustees Randall, Leonard, Gilquist? Hearing none, moving on to item D, the Board Policy Committee, trustee Boards Miller and myself.
The BPC has renewed its review of board policies to ensure the college's governing documents remain current, compliant, and reflective of college operations. This month's policy packet includes several proposed updates that are being presented for board review, with final action anticipated at the August meeting. This month's packet includes 2 new policies. The first is an annual review and updates of the policy manual. The second is recording devices and artificial intelligence. The packet also includes updates to policies related to student organizations and activities, employee professional development, leaves from employment, conflict of interest, and tuition. These revisions are intended to improve clarity, support compliance efforts, and better align board policies with current institutional practices. We appreciate the board's review of these proposed changes and welcome any feedback prior to the final consideration next month. If you have any questions, you're encouraged to contact myself as chair of the committee, Jennifer Fuller, of course, Aaron who's on the committee as well. And that concludes the report unless you have anything to add.
I'll simply say, when you look at the employee professional development, I feel like this is things working well. We changed it a year ago, 2 years ago. Faculty have concern that a future board or future folks might read it the way that it wasn't intended to be. They pushed it up the chain. That's the revision here. It came from them. It's everything we passed it to be, but it protects faculty, and I think it's a good sign when they're able to voice even just concern or some highlighting what we're doing, and they were heard, and this policy is in. And staff, yes.
Covers the staff as well.
But I just thought that was a win for everybody.
Good point.
Not that we passed it yet, but when you review it, just know that.
Thanks for sharing.
Any questions of trustee Boards Miller or myself? Hearing none, item E, Budget and Finance Committee, Dr. Clark and Dr. Bouchard.
We have not met, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any questions then of Dr. Bouchard? Hearing none. Item F, the Enrollment Committee, myself and Trustee Miller, we met right after the Board Policy Committee last week. It was recent. We received some good information, good updates on the trends of enrollment at the college. At some point,
We want you to.
yeah, we have one sheet in here, and I'm sure at some point, not tonight, but
Yeah.
October-ish, you'll get, but everything seems to be trending in the right direction. Good news to report, so. Any questions? Again, hearing none, IT Committee, Trustee Little.
Okay, Scott provided me with the following. They've completed the Barnes and Noble integration project, which includes associated billing processes. They've completed the re-up integration project. It's pending final tuition file review. I'm gonna broad stroke this, and if you wanna add to it, Rachel, you can. It's our system that's helping go after the stop-loss students that we have that have stopped out and trying to bring them back into the fold, so to speak. Does that work? Okay. They completed integration with the college catalog and curriculum management tool with Modern Campus. They started development on a centralized integration dashboard. That platform will serve as the standard framework for future integrations, and migration of existing integrations has begun on that. They completed a full campus technology inventory scan. They have decommissioned 2 computer labs as part of technology lifecycle and resource management efforts. Scott believes both of those are in the E-wing, definitely one, and those are computer labs that will be repurposed or space will be repurposed, or the labs themselves weren't being utilized very well. They have scheduled the upgrade of the document manager system. As part of that project, the legacy desktop application will retire due to vendor depreciation. Nope, deprecation. 2 different words, sorry. The college experienced an increase in phishing attempts targeting student accounts during the past month, resulting in 22 students giving up their login credentials. They've responded by securing their accounts, expanding the deployment of Duo, which is our multi-factor authentication, to additional student populations. They've communicated to all student accounts the best practices for avoiding phishing attempts. I spoke with Scott a little bit before that. The state sends out multiple attempts to my email every month through our IT department that are simulated phishing attempts. And its sole purpose is to get us to click that little phishing button. So I've pretty well grown very suspicious of any email I don't expect coming. So I told him the philosophy I've always used here lately is when in doubt, just click the button. It'll tell you if it's spam, and if it's spam, all right. If it's not, then at least you click the button. But they've completed installation of the FY26 exterior security cameras, and they've started the FY27 additions and replacements. And then they've completed the deployment of the Axon police vehicle iPads, which correspond to their body cams. Is there anything else you want to add onto that, Chief Webb?
Very good platform, very user-friendly, a lot better for the officers. And if they cooperate with my state's attorney, it's a much better program.
So Rhett likes it too, is what you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that concludes my report unless you have questions for Chief Webb, or Dr. Savita Webb, or for Scott.
Hearing none. Back to you, Trustee Little, with the ICCTA report.
I'll do ICCTA first, and then I'll do ACCT. The ICCTA Executive Board Retreat is going to be August 7th and 8th in Freeport. I've been requested to continue on for a second year as the chair of the Student Trustee Engagement Committee. The focus of that committee is actually very in line with what Ferris is doing here. It's also very in line with what ACCT Student Advisory Committee is doing as well, which is developing an onboarding tool for student trustees so that that year is a little more seamless and that transition is a little better for them. So that'll be what our focus will be this coming year. During that executive board retreat, in addition to putting together the strategic plan for ICCTA this year, we're gonna tour the Highland Community College Agriculture Underground Irrigation and Fertilization Test Facility, which is the only one in the state of Illinois. We're going to tour their simulation hospital, which is one of only 2 in Illinois. And then they're going to give us a demonstration of their mobile medical lab. And then for those of us that are poli-sci history majors, we're gonna visit the Lincoln Douglas debate site, which is gonna be kind of cool. And then in prep for the 2027 election you should have gotten an email. I'm so thankful for Pixie for printing these. I don't necessarily gonna tell you where to find them in your email, but now you have hard copies. The big one for ICCTA is this one right here, local leadership that makes a difference. It goes over a little more of what it takes to make a trustee and what a trustee actually does. Their push for ICCTA is with election season coming up for the April 2027 election. If you know people that are interested in running, make sure that they get that information, and it kind of gives out the deadlines and what the role is and things like that. In your email with ACCT or ICCTA, I'm not sure who sent the email now, there's a workforce Pell webinar tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'm assuming we have someone that'll be on that. It's offered through AACC.
I don't know that tomorrow is one that we're on, but we've been on different ones, I think.
Okay. Their focus is on helping community colleges collectively establish policy and practical framework for the workforce Pell, understanding that each state will have to craft their policies differently in the way that they apply it. Leadership Congress is October 21st through the 24th. The deadline to register for early bird is Friday, August 14th, so if you haven't already told Pixie that you want to attend, please do so. They're gonna have their opening general session with all regional accrediting organizations. That's gonna be the people that'll be leading that for discussion on the future of accreditation in higher ed. But they'll also be providing artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, workforce development and economic mobility, enrollment student success, institutional culture and well-being. Have we received word if we're presenting in that one?
We're not presenting.
Okay. And then innovative partnerships and community impact. And of course, like I said, that'll be in Chicago. And then finally, they pushed out their ACCT Excel program. They just finished their first cohort of that, so they pushed out a new one for if you're interested. It's a structured, self-paced online learning system with interactive opportunities for trustees. You have to complete them in order, so you complete level 1 to move on to level 2. If you're interested in signing up for those, you must do so by July 31st. Let them know that you're interested in participating, and then they'll send out emails for those that are accepted into the next cohort for that. And that concludes my report. Sorry.
Questions of Trustee Little? Hearing none, Trustee McAvoy cannot be here this evening. She gave a paragraph to read into the record for her. I will read it. In lieu of a real student trustee report, please pass along in whole or in part that I'm traveling with the leadership team of the Johnny Logan chapter of the Aspiring Educators Club, which is the Illinois Education Association and NEA pre-professional student group. Our local chapter is recently established by Dr. Aaron Sagaski. And our small club applied for and was awarded a targeted local grant. The grant included travel to this IEA Summer Leadership Academy training conference that will help us better grow John Day's Aspiring Educators Club and our education program.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question to the General Counsel about the Student Trustees Survey. I'm sometimes a little shy about sharing personal or even professional information about my life, but I'm glad she's doing the survey. It could be important to the student trustees. But in here it says, we advise that your written responses will be subject to FOIA requests. If you would prefer to meet in person, please contact me. Does that mean at an oral interview, the notes that are taken would not be subject to a FOIA request?
That would be assuming she's taking notes.
Well, I assume to complete the survey, somebody would have to take notes. I'm just asking, because it's a
Those
little
would be,
confusing.
so because she's doing this in her role as student trustee, it makes it subject to FOIA. So whether you write the notes and send them to her, or whether she takes notes of the meeting or interview, if she keeps those notes, they would be subject to FOIA. And technically, since she's doing it under official capacity, Jennifer would indicate that she can't destroy those notes. So hence the reason for the cautionary on the document.
Okay. I think that explains it. Thank you.
You forgot the foundation.
This one every time. Jay, I'm sorry.
I
I'm not trying to skip it.
do not have a report tonight. I'm just waiting for jobs.
All right, moving on then to item 5, association reports. Do we have any association leaders to address the board? Moving on then to item 6, executive leadership reports, beginning with President Dr. Overstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You have a written report for me that the first paragraph is no longer pertinent, so I'll get you another copy of this when we're done with this tonight. I'd like to take a moment just to recognize student Chandler Demeister, sorry. Can you stand up for it? Yes. Chandler has just completed an internship with the president's office. He worked throughout the college. He is in Phi Theta Kappa. He's also in the Senate. We had a conversation earlier. We've had an intern in the past, and this is our second intern. We had a nice conversation with him this afternoon, talked about things that he liked, didn't like, things that we want to change going on in the future. But this is a position that we intend to continue to move on with. I want to thank Chandler for his service, for his time with the different areas that he served. He spent time in HR, student affairs, academic affairs, in my office, where else? Business office, thank you, sorry. Clean Soil, he's done some work with Clean Soil, and he was in the HR office as well, I think. To get a flavor of what it's like to possibly move into, to go toward an administration position. So we're looking forward to his continued success as he moves on. He's a dual student, taking classes both at SIU and here, but he had a very heavy semester this summer. He took stats and weather and climate along with doing his work this summer, so he's been a very busy man. But we appreciate it, wanted to recognize him for that work that he did. And just talk a little bit, you can have a seat now. Thank you. Sorry.
Magnus, the other intern?
No, actually, it was, Magnus was the other intern, you're right. And then we skipped this season, we were gonna do it with Dion. Dion was going to, but then Dion actually got a job in the fitness center and decided not to do it, that's right. So we'll be looking to do that next summer. So we'll refine it a little bit and we'll continue on with that. I think it's a good opportunity for the students. I had the opportunity to meet with Dr. Boone from the Department of Agriculture at SIU last week. Had a great conversation with Dr. Boone about the possibilities of what we can do in Pathways. We also talked about having a special event in the fall that we're going to work on to bring. She has a much larger department than just agriculture.
Yeah.
She does
Life
sciences. But we are intending to have a career service day where we focus specifically on her group and have her advisors, some of our advisors, our faculty, their faculty here on campus to talk to students about the possibilities and the pathways that they can lead to in agriculture, life sciences, and earth sciences. We had a great conversation, took her for a little tour, showed her some of the things we're doing here on campus, And she was delightful, and we had a good afternoon getting to know each other. So
Oh,
thank you for that. Our vice chair helped me set up that meeting. We also had an impromptu I'm going to call it pre-groundbreaking for our new Logan Legacy Plaza. And Logan Legacy Plaza is what we're going to be calling the plaza that lives beyond the F-wing, where John A. Logan stands. We've already installed the plaques. The plaques, you might remember, were removed from the trees, and some were buried and undug from the trees. And if you get a chance and you haven't gone out to see that. But last week, Dr. Hancock's, both of them came, Barry and Ray, they were in between appointments, and they had an opportunity, and so several of us got to meet with them and show them the new plaques, where the plaques are, have a conversation about how we're going to build out the plaza. We will have a larger groundbreaking that will come here in October. Our intent is to remove one entire long sidewalk that runs along the mirror pond. That will then become bricked, and that will be an opportunity for not only legacy for our retirees, but also for our alum. So we think it's going to be a great addition to our alum to have a place where they can come and have a brick. Proceeds from buying the bricks will go to the Promise program, which is also a really good way for us to move the Promise program forward. So we're very excited. It was great to see Dr. Hancock. He was in good spirits and enjoyed being outside in the weather. It was hot. I don't think Dr. Hancock minded the heat. He was set, but it was pretty warm when we were standing out, but we did enjoy his visit. So he was here, and we'll continue on with that. We will actually invite him. We have 5 sets of plaques that we have had created that are for the 5 years that we have had retirees since we started. Since we were in COVID, it kind of fell off the radar. We went back and we found out and made sure that we have all the retirees that have retired since 2021 on those plaques. And particularly Eric Pooley, he'll have, I talked to his mom at his funeral, and we will be sure to make sure that she and other members of those families can come to the celebration. So look for that date. We'll get that one coming in October. Somewhere in the middle of October, I hope, in between the President's Retreat in the beginning of October, my daughter's having a child, and then ACCT at the end. So we're trying to break that right in between. I'll be around, or Stephanie will, somebody. We've had a very busy month. We've been kind of going all over. Had a really great conversation. Statewide, there are a couple of things going on. One of the things that's happening right now is the Common Course numbering. Common Course numbering has been introduced by legislation. They would like us to have a Common Course number that goes across the state. So if I'm taking English 101 here, it's English 101 at Northern Illinois, or it's English 101 at SIU. There is a lot of intricacies to doing that. It's not easy. And so we have formed what I would call a bipartisan group. Universities and community college group are working together to look at this issue and really boil it down to what the issue is. The issue sometimes, there's been a long-term sort of myth out there that, I take college courses here at Johnny Logan and they don't always transfer to U of I, or they don't always transfer to SIU. And what we have had some really interesting conversations, presidents at the university level and at the college level, along with our administrators that are involved, is that there's a great deal of choice that goes along with this. So say I start here at Johnny Logan College and I'm going to go into the engineering program. And I'm halfway through that program and I've already taken courses towards that program. And then I decided I really want to be a history teacher. And so I start taking history classes. Well, then I get over to SIU and I decide, well, I really like that engineering, I'm going to go back to engineering. That's going to curtail how many credit hours I'm going to be getting in the long run, because I'm going to be adding credits because I'm taking courses that don't count toward the degree at the end of that degree. We feel very strongly at the president's level, both university and college level, a great deal of responsibility to our students. We believe that there's a great deal of advising, and we're not so sure if we have to change numbers and systems, because changing numbers and systems is statewide is a monumental task. It has happened in some states, not very successfully. Texas has a somewhat successful rate to get to there. but their systems are different. But we are looking at what we can possibly do. We will continue to have meetings statewide and then we will be inviting members from our colleges and universities to come together, and then we're preparing a study that's going to look deep into what the reasons are behind the Common Core numbering idea. We feel that's important. It's not a legislated law yet. It keeps coming up. We want to get ahead of it because we believe that we have a better solution that doesn't require our local control to be taken away from us, which we also think is very important. So we're working on that statewide. Our facility master plan, it was completed and it's been sitting. It is a fine piece of work. We are excited about that facility master plan. I think we're most excited, Jake mentioned in his conversation about the buildings. Our CTE program, our CTE buildings are moving along really well right now, part of that facility master plan. But a big part of that facility master plan is to refresh the entire campus with those new refreshed looks. And you've seen where the Logan Head used to be. What are we calling that again? I forget what we're
The
signature.
calling
signature.
it. The turnabout.
It's the round.
Roundabout. Roundabout.
All Southern Illinois.
I was gonna put signature there. No.
Signature.
Okay.
We're gonna have to really start to put down what that's called. So we're gonna call it the roundabout at
I
Johnny
think the
Logan
students
Signature.
already decided it's the signature lounge.
So
The
That
students
sounds
have
right.
spoken.
students have spoken, so. But when I took Dr. Boone out for my conversation with her, I took her through kind of the past into the future and to where we're going next. So she was excited to see that. She loved the signature on the wall. And I said, I think it's a much better homage than to have walked over Johnny Logan's face for the last 30 years or 20 years. That carpet. The Cabinet 9, we have gone to one workshop regarding the strategic long-range plan. As you all know, our strategic long-range plan ends next year in June. We will have to have a new 5-year long-range plan. So Cabinet has come together. We are going to do a series of workshops. We're doing another workshop this Friday. We'll continue some of the work that we are doing to create the foundation for the strategic long-range plan. This is not us building a strategic long-range plan and handing it to everybody. We are building the foundation so that we can build upon it. We will then have opportunity for community members. We will have opportunities for board members to come in to forums and to different focus groups throughout the fall semester. The project is being run by Dr. Mays out of the Institutional Research Group. We appreciate the work that he's doing, but it's a large group of people that are going to be working on this as we move on into the programming of the strategic long-range plan. We have aspirations to make it as pretty as the FMP without having it go out to bid for having it made pretty. So we're going to do our internal work to make it pretty. We want it to look and feel a lot like that FMP. We feel that that's a really good look for our plans. Along with our STEM plans, we'll do the same thing. Overall, it's been a month focused on alignment. Dr. Hartford will talk a little bit about our meeting with the K through 12 partners that we had recently, alignment with our higher ed efforts, our facility needs, and with the future direction of the college. Summer should be slower. It is not slow. And it's almost over, but we are looking forward. By the time we meet next with the board, we will have been into a week and a half of classes for the fall. We're looking forward to having the students here on campus. I will invite all of you, we'll invite you officially through an email to come out to the kickoff on August 13th. We'll have a opening session, as well as some professional development sessions that if you're welcome to come to and enjoy, and to see some of the work that we're doing around campus. That is Thursday, and then Friday we have a more reduced schedule of professional development. It's more focused on the faculty, but we do have an ice cream social at the end of the day Friday. So if you're up and around and looking for some ice cream, come in the afternoon and come to campus. Appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I do want to mention that Dr. Hartford will be talking a little bit about our friend Pinar, who we lost this year to a tragic accident. But I do want to mention that I had an opportunity to attend her funeral, meet with her family, and it was quite a moving experience, and she will be missed by all of us. But I returned that time to talk to her.
I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
I saw this come out and sent some information on here, the JALC Boys and Girls Club Partnership. How, I mean, this is the first as board member I've heard anything about this. How this all come about?
So we've had some conversations with Boys and Girls Club. We happen to have a couple of our folks who are members or are on the board of the Boys and Girls Club in Carbondale. April Martinez and Cordy Love are both on that group. And we've had conversations with Boys and Girls Club off and on. They've had their ceremony here. And we were having some conversations about our needs for some of our students to have some care in the evening. We've been looking for an avenue. The Boys and Girls Club was a conversation that we had probably about almost a year ago, I would say. We started having a conversation with them about the possibilities of partnering with them. Really about, actually, the first conversation was about allowing them to utilize Logan as a space. Not necessarily a full-fledged partnership, but just as a location. That is not really a viable situation for the Boys and Girls Clubs. They have a lot of rules, regulations around how the Boys and Girls Club works. But they do have the opportunity, and we have this opportunity to pilot a smaller partnership with them. One that we have an example of at Wabanzi Community College. They have this program where we have an evening program that runs from 3 to 9 o'clock. The Boys and Girls Club runs the program. We are getting some support to them as far as location, and I think we have some, definitely remind me, what else do we have that's involved in that?
It's not a student work position, that's the equivalent of the cost of the student work position.
Student worker
But
position.
it would be their employee because they need to.
Their employee is hired through them. We're supporting that student worker. The nice thing is that the students, the children that they'll bring in, will all be the children of JALC students who are here in the evening for either cosmetology or nursing or any of our evening programs. We have only about 20 slots, I believe, in this first run. And to see how this works out, Jake. So this is a first for us. And I think it's a good partnership.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's the first we heard about it, reading the papers. So.
Oh, well.
Anyway, the other question I have is, of course, being a representative to the foundation, and I know on the Promises program, the foundation has set aside a little money, but not near enough. And I know you said you were going to meet with the superintendents. Is anything coming in their direction?
Yeah.
Are they going to be having any fundraisers or anything?
They're gonna help us out. Dr. Harper will tell a little bit about that. I will give you a little experience. I ran into Daniel Booth, who's the superintendent of Carbondale, just the other day. He has a radio spot coming up on August 3rd and has invited me, actually, I think I'm busy, but Stacy, to be on that radio with him to talk about Promise. Dr. Booth and our other superintendents are very excited about the Promise program and are working to help us with getting some of that funded.
Well, I'm more concerned about the money.
Well, the funding is what I'm talking about. He's talking about helping us get money raised for it, yes.
Jake, I will say that Dr. Booth at the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce last week was invited to give a speech about the Promise program, et cetera, to try to reach out to all the Carbondale businesses for it as well. So I know Carbondale at least is trying to really bridge that gap on some funding issues.
He also spoke at the Southern Illinois Workforce Development Board meeting, which I'm part of, and talked eloquently a long time about his program, but also about the Promise program and the need for people to support it monetarily. He's a big advocate.
I wanted to say, I want to thank you for the Boys and Girls Club program. I know Jake asked a question about it, but 2 years ago, I headed up a fundraising effort to get it reestablished in Southern Illinois. By the way, the greatest supporter we have in Southern Illinois for the Boys and Girls Club program is the mayor of Marion. He has invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in his own money. Yeah, I mean, but the real benefit First of all of the programs in the Boys and Girls Club have to be certified nationally with people who are trained to present the educational programs and so on. It's a tremendous benefit to the kids. But here's the deal. We got all of these folks that don't get off work when school's out, when school's over. You know, they're still working. They can put their children in the Boys and Girls Club. They can stay there until 7:30, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night with trained people, getting educational benefit, and they don't have to pay expensive childcare. And to the extent that we can offer more of this to our students here who are in those same situations, I would advocate for it. I just think it's a wonderful program, and it's a great benefit to the community and our students, to have a program like this.
Well, thank you, Dr. Bouchard. I'm going to give the thanks, though, I think, to April Martinez and Cody Love, who really kind of helped usher this in. So they're not here with us tonight, but I'll make sure that they know.
Yeah.
But this has been a good partnership, and
Well, I think it's a very good program, and I know that Glenn's involvement in this in the past, and it's great. I just like to know, I just wondered how we got involved, what we're doing,
Yeah.
So now,
Out of curiosity, how much did we budget for it?
It's right at 16, I believe, thousand. I'd have to look exactly, I can't, but
Gotcha.
that was roughly
It's
what
about
the
the
position.
wage of a student.
And like Dr. Bouchard, at different points have been involved, and it's a great thing that now it's all of Southern Illinois instead of just Carbondale, so we sit right in between the two big ones, so I think we do with that.
What's the process for the students? Since it's gonna be a resource for the students on campus, what's that process look like for them to gain access, I guess?
So we drafted a communication in conjunction with LaShonda Schubert. I have to look at my notes, who's their director. She created a flyer that got emailed to students. We first targeted healthcare students because that's the primary grouping of students who are here in the evenings, and we've heard who have the childcare needs. So we started with that group of students. They would do all the sign up and the registration through the normal Boys and Girls process. And then once we kind of give that a little bit of time, then we'll send it out to more students.
I think it's a great thing. I mean, that's, at ACCT, they talked all about, in one of the sessions, I was, students who are parents.
Yeah.
And that demographic, and it's definitely an overlooked one that people see tuition and fees and that's all they think about, but there's so much more for their rationale for dropping out.
And some of our retention, and I think Jordan's here, but they're one of our most vulnerable populations, the students that we lose the most are female students who are single parent. So that's what, through our retention efforts, we've been trying to really identify ways that we can close the gap for that student. The other part that's behind the scenes that you don't see is we have a new education instructor, Dr. Erin Zagaski, that you mentioned in the report. We are partnering with Dr. Zagaski, and her education students will be able to come in and do some programming that's approved by the Boys and Girls Club, so they may have internship hours, volunteer hours, and some other things, so.
We're partnering with Arts Space as well,
Yes.
because Arts Space is going to be helping with the program and helping support pay for the program. So it is a whole area coming together to do this. And we're just happy to be a part of it.
Any other questions for Dr. Overstreet? Hearing none, item B, our Provost, Dr. Stephanie Cheney Harper.
Thank you. I wanted to start with acknowledging the loss of one of our teammates the past month, and that is Minar. I love how she would help us remember how to pronounce her name, which is Qasim, sounds like awesome. So Minar passed away on July 2nd, as many of you know, through a car accident. She served as the assistant manager of financial aid systems. And what that job really entailed was very much so, almost like an IT person who worked in financial aid. She really dealt with the intricacies of the system and running reports. She was there on the build when we went to a new system in J1, and all of those of us who have dealt with that certainly appreciate those who rise to the top of that type of work to do that. Rachel Savita Webb and I asked Sherry Rushing, who was Menar's supervisor, if she would create a statement that we could share with all of you, because she and her team really knew Menar, and so this is what they put together. Sherry said that Menar began her career at the college in the bursar's office in 2012 before joining the financial aid office in 2019, where she quickly became an invaluable team member. Her dedication, attention to detail, and commitment to excellence consistently went above and beyond expectations, playing a significant role in maintaining compliance and ensuring quality work. Menar was determined, passionate, and deeply cared about the things that mattered most to her: her job, her family, fitness, and of course, good food. She brought humor and positivity to those around her, making even the busiest days brighter. Her infectious laughter, her strong work ethic, and zest for life, making even the busiest days brighter, and zest for life left a lasting impression on everyone who knew her. Menar truly lived life to the fullest and will be remembered with great fondness and appreciation. As Rachel and I reflected on Menar, we wanted to share this with all of you because you've seen the fruits of her work. Menar's exceptional work in maintaining the financial aid compliance played a key role in the college receiving a clean FY25 audit report from Kemper, as reported at our March 26th Board of Trustees meeting. She was truly dedicated to accuracy, regulatory compliance, and continuous monitoring of financial aid processes, and this helped ensure that the college met all of our audit requirements. She was consistently demonstrating professionalism, attention to detail, and a deep commitment to serving our students and safeguarding the institution's integrity. We remain grateful for her contributions, and her work continues to have a lasting impact on the college. Over the last few years, some of you may remember that we did have a few findings in our audit, and they related to the return of funds and financial aid and how we do attendance reporting. And over the last several years, we've really worked with our faculty and different employees to shore up that reporting and how we do it. And I think this was one of the first times that we got it, didn't we? So we got it, and Menar was running the reports and checking a lot of that detail. So we want all of you to know that we did a lot of work and she helped us get there too. So we truly appreciate that. Menar was an alumni of John A. Logan College. She was very proud, I think, to work here. I believe her father talked to you about that. So Menar loved John A. Logan, and we are definitely missing her right now. So thank you to her. Small report tonight. To continue on to what Dr. Overstreet was saying, over the last month, we've had a couple of other visits with SIU and talking about some of the pathways and opportunities that might be available for our students. Last week, a group of some of us in academic affairs and in particular the health, science, and nursing area met with about 3 staff from the SIU College of Health and Human Services to talk about articulation, and they're doing some work on their degrees, and we'll be able to align ours with that. So we'll opening up conversations even a little bit more with different majors that maybe we haven't in the past. And then the other one occurred actually today. We had a great discussion with the College of Arts and Media. I think about 5 people came over and maybe 1 joined on the phone to discuss the possibility of creating a musical theater pathway between what we offer here now and possibly adding some things that we might want to offer in the future. So we've got some homework on both of those fronts, but we definitely look and continue to look for ways to partner with SIU and and getting those pathways built. We do want to invite you to our summer band concert that's coming up. That is on Sunday, August the 2nd. So that'll be in O'Neill Auditorium. I'm happy to send you something Pixie may have something in the packet, yes.
I don't have a flyer, but I can.
We can do that. And then, as Dr. Overstreet said, on July 14th, our dual credit and partnership office hosted a breakfast for our superintendents. And really the goal there this summer was to discuss the statewide conversation and efforts that are going on surrounding the Dual Credit Quality Act, the legislation, and really helping the two entities to understand the needs of both parties. One, from the community college stance is we have a number of regulations that we have to follow, rules and things that come from the state, that come from our accreditors, and that's why we have to make certain decisions we do about who gets to teach dual credit. But then from the K-12 side, they are also legislatively mandated to provide like 6 hours of dual credit in particular career pathways. So ultimately, it's that conversation of how can we work together to basically best serve students. And we want to get their feedback and be good partners with them. So we appreciate our superintendents quite a lot here. And then as we start to go into the next couple of weeks, we are extremely busy. As the college officially begins on Monday, the 17th of August for us. So the week leading into that will be filled with a number of orientations for adjunct faculty, professional development for staff, employees. And then the week of, when students get here, we certainly turn our attention to doing a lot of activities for them. We've got Saturday sign up that precedes the kickoff of the semester, as well as a coffee and college event where we're also opening our doors to parents and students who may be thinking about it, if not that particular semester in the future. So August begins the race for us, so to speak. Thank you.
Any questions? In your discussion with the superintendents, I know Overstreet and I had a conversation about the financial impact of dual credit, especially on us, and that things may be changing in the state, and we may be, what is their feeling toward this, or has there been any movement in that direction?
Yeah, we didn't really focus on the financial part of dual credit that day. We definitely talked about the Dual Credit Quality Act and what that means for both sides. We definitely talked about just, I think they know, and we talked a little bit about the financial impact that it has on us. They know what we get in terms of reimbursement and stuff. They know why we can't go. We made the decision this year, we're not doing off-campus cohort programs.
Right.
Because that is, it's such a loss for us to do. And I think they get that because they also run school districts and have to maintain budgets and things. But they also know that we try to look for ways to still offer coursework to their students in ways that are cost efficient for the college, so we can continue to offer courses, because if we have to make a decision to shut down a course, according to the rules of dual credit, we don't ever offer that to them. So they know that, I think they understand that we have to be cost effective to continue to offer it for all of us kind of thing, so.
I'd indicate that this is a topic that we've been having at the President's Council level. We've been having this conversation with legislators, representatives. This is something we have to continue to have conversations with our legislators about. When we visited the legislators just, I think it was last year, there was a little bit of shock and dismay about how much we actually got from dual credit. They didn't really realize what we get from dual credit. One of our efforts this year from President's Council is going to be to talk to our representatives and our senators about the funding that we get from community colleges. We're supposed to get about a third of our funding from the state. That doesn't equal out. doesn't come to fruition. And so we've been mandated. We are partners with dual credit. We will continue to be partners, but we are mandated to do dual credit. And then dual credit becomes somewhat of a burden on us because it is not funded. I'll just put it that way. So it is something that we're working with. We continue to work with our legislators on it, and continue to work throughout the state. That's the best thing that we can do, is to continue to work that direction. And for your part, as board members, I would encourage you to, if you'd like to have a conversation with me or with Stephanie about that, or even Dr. LePan about the cost of dual credit, to help have those conversations with our representatives and senators, I would encourage that. That would be a great thing. Help them understand the need that we have. We support a great deal of our economy here in Southern Illinois, but we also have obligations that are a little difficult sometimes to take care of as well. We are very good partners though. I will tell you that I sit on a panel with other community college presidents about dual credit. We have a meeting coming up in October 28th at Triton Community College about dual credit. We had a great conversation. I think we mentioned it in our last board meeting about the seminar that we went to, the superintendents and community college presidents and VPs, CAOs, just to help them understand the rules that we are beholden to, both JALC and ICCB recognition, as well as the rules that they are beholden to from ISBE. And so helping us understand and bridge the gap between those two things, that we can be better partners. Meetings like this that Dr. Hartford and her team put together, Alan Porter and the folks from that group really go all out and bring those folks together. We have a really good meeting with them. I participate quietly. I say a couple things and then I let them have their conversations. But it is certainly a work in progress.
Any other questions for Dr. Cheney Hartford? Hearing none, we'll move on to item C, our Vice President for Business Services and CFO, Dr. Susan LePan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report will also be very short unless anybody would like for me to reprise all of the budget data that I really love to sing and dance about. But if not, then it will be a very, very short report because this is the time of year when we're cleaning up the desk from the budget compilation and the approval from the board, making sure that everything is put into action in our Genzibar system so that life can go on as if we didn't have this artificial deadline of fiscal year to fiscal year. We're also getting ready to begin our fiscal audit. We will have folks on site, I believe at the end of August, beginning of September, in order to do site work. I'll remind you of this when the audit is complete and you receive it probably sometime in January, because until that time, that's what we're engaged with. So we spend half the year with budget and half the year with actual. That's how I like to characterize it. However, in the rest of the business services division, we're extremely busy trying to help student support services and the academic administration with our new textbook contract and the new way that our students will be able to access their materials from the winner of that contract, Barnes & Noble, with their program that is called First Day. The concept being that students will be charged a per credit fee for the materials for each of their courses. Now, students may opt in, they may opt out if it's one of those semesters that is not particularly heavily expensed for books and materials, and they can do something better on their own. However, their cost is capped at $25 per course credit. So a 3-credit course would have a $75 charge for books and materials. And I'm sure, Mr. Chairman, as you're probably very well aware, sometimes in some courses that can be multiple hundreds of dollars. So we're trying this program for the first time, and we're very hopeful that it will be helpful to our students, that it will encourage enrollment and retention. The other problem, in addition to the financial problem, and I'm sorry, I always fall to that, but the other part of it is that it's extremely important to the faculty that students have their textbooks and their materials on the first day of classes and not wait. I did this as a college student, I'm sure all of you did too. I didn't buy my textbook until I knew for sure what was going to be actually used, because very often we had this huge list and it wasn't used. Students are still doing that, even though I don't believe faculty are still doing those enormous book lists like when I was in college, which we understand was in the 1900s. We're very hopeful that this will be well met by the students, that student services will see happy and retained students, that faculty will be very happy that their students have books and materials on time, first day, and that they'll be able to get right to work on the first day without having to try to help students bridge that gap. The fun thing, the exciting part of this is that the Business Services Division has been working hand in hand with the academic side of the house. It's our pleasure to serve students, and we don't get to do that directly very often. And this is very much a direct project for us. So we're very excited about it. We are nervous because this is very new. We want to be sure that our students are not confused by it, that everything runs as smoothly as it could and should. And so everybody through the college is working to make our students successful.
Since you are blurring the line between business office faculty, have there been any issues with any faculty not being able to get a book that they typically use? Is it limited, or do they just pick their Barnes and Noble? Do they pretty much have everything?
They do. They adopt as they wish, and I don't want to step on their toes on that.
No, I mean, it's pretty much standard book stuff that we've dealt with year after year of picking books. Every now and then you run out of editions that are out of print, which is nothing new. We've been trying to stay in touch with students, faculty, just to monitor, are we communicating well enough? Yesterday when we met with Jennifer Jeter and Devin Miller, who represent the Faculty Association, we said, hey, how's the communication going about the bookstore? Do we need to do anything differently? And I think we got the thumbs up. No, I think we're going okay. So not to say we won't have hiccups, but as of now, it seems to be going well.
Mm-hmm.
It really does depend. The student needs to evaluate each semester. There will be some semesters where it mathematically benefits them to do the opt-in and take the Barnes and Noble per credit. But there might be another semester where mathematically, if there aren't many textbooks required of them, it would make more sense to opt out and just buy the one or two on your own. But I know today, just in experimenting during our phone call, I checked on, I think it was Accounting 201 book. It would have been a purchase of $186. But by doing the first day complete, it will be $75. So that's where that student just needs to look at the math, which is pretty easy in the system, and then you pick which serves you better.
So I have a friend that's attending this fall, and she got the email. If I'm correct in the way I read the email, the students are automatically opted in.
Yes.
They have to opt out.
Correct.
That is correct.
So I think that will benefit them as well, because they're guaranteed to have their textbooks. It falls on them, the responsibility does, of which one is financially better for them. But this ensures that they'll get their textbooks on time regardless, so.
And they can change their mind. They can go back and forth for about 3 to 4 weeks. And then what they do this semester can totally change for them the following semester. It's not once you're done.
She loves the feature of it already. She doesn't have to worry about going in and selecting the books, or like it does all of that for her, and so.
Is it the whole semester all in or all out?
Yes.
It's not per course, okay.
How does that impact the store?
The you can see if I'm stepping on your toes.
No,
The
no.
general store does not provide textbooks.
Correct.
It has not since it began
Um,
as the general
23.
store.
2023.
What we do source through the general store for students would be what we call kits. Because we can source them and not have to mark them up yearly like previous bookstore sellers were, where they might have built in a profit margin of even 50%. Dr. LePan can build in just enough where we're covering shipping and
Yep.
general operational costs. So we've been able to get items for students at a significantly lower cost.
Correct.
Again, they're not required to go through us. They can still go to Hobby Lobby and buy their art supplies,
If they choose.
or they can price it through us, but I can almost guarantee our price beats
Yeah.
the outside world right now, because we're not designed to be profit.
We've got a pretty amazing buyer who does all of this stuff and can wangle supplies very nicely.
Wangle?
Wangle, yes, it's
I
a
like it.
it's a definite, it's a term of art.
Okay.
It's a term of art. So please do, now that we've mentioned the general store, please do take a look at the general store. It's looking wonderful, and we now are selling gift cards, which I think is gonna be a wonderful feature because we've had the request for those for a very, very long time. We have them, they're there, and they're available. For the new year, and hopefully it will be a wonderful gift for our students from parents, friends, and other folks who would like to gift them with JALC garb. In addition to the audit and the closing of the old year, we have opened the new year, and we were able to do that transition within the first week of July, which we're getting quicker and quicker at it every year, which means that business can go on. And that, of course, is really important because the artificialness of a fiscal year and needing to time when things were purchased, when title passed to us, when we owe it, what year does it belong to, is incredibly time-consuming and intricate. And for the operations people, it is a major pain in the keister to have to stop purchasing, acquiring, and getting ready for the fall semester, because the fall semester is, of course, in the next, 3.5 weeks. So we're very pleased that we can turn that over that quickly. We had a quilt show this past weekend. It was extremely well attended. It was a beautiful show. We're in partnership with the Quilt Museum out of Paducah, and they were extremely pleased with the turnout that they had here and with the facility that we were able to offer to them. We are getting ready for all of the autumn activities, hunting and fishing days, Autumn Fest, and needless to say, all of this is being done with some nail biting for two reasons. The one reason that I would emphasize is because we're trying to work all of these events around a very, very strenuous building schedule. And the cooperation, the collegial nature of this work is astounding. And you all, I believe, should be very proud of faculty and staff for coordinating all of these things in such a difficult environment where we will emerge beautiful, but it's going to be a little bit of a strain to get there, as Mr. Rendelman will tell you, with the concerns that he and the building committee have in regard to the structure. Gift cards, I wanted to be sure that you knew about that. I would also like to be sure that I express my thanks. I have heard so very much from many of my staff and from many staff and faculty members who are not part of my division to thank you all for the very kind invitation to the Thrillbillies this week. They're looking forward to it, and I would like to be sure to acknowledge that and to be sure I forward their thanks to you. And unless you would like me to continue on about the budget, Mr. Chairman, I will end my report.
Yeah, a couple quick questions.
Sure thing.
On the page 4 where you have the graph and everything, I know there we went up all of a sudden about from say 43 million to 63 million. That was all bond money, right?
Correct.
And how much money was that bond money that we?
Ultimately, with both issuance, well, with all of the issuances,
that went
Mr.
up this
Rendelman, it was
one time?
approximately $27 million.
Okay, there's only 20 in that jump, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, because the initial 7 would have been in the October
Right.
forward.
Yeah.
Mr. Rendelman, I think it's really important for you to also keep in mind that Mr. Sargent is spending money as quickly as I can bring it in.
It sure is. I've seen some of these expenditures that they.
Oh, yes, oh, yeah, horse choking comes into my mind, yeah.
Speaking of money, do you have any idea when the Jackson and Williamson County tax bills are coming out?
I just received a confirmation request from them last week. So that usually means, so they're only confirming with all of their entities. Actually, Mr. Barkey might have a much better idea. But Mr. Rendelman, I don't usually get these as late as July. I usually get these in March, April, and May. So it's behind. But Mr. Barkey, I bet you can do magic and you know about that.
Tax bills are gonna be mailed by the end of July for Jackson County. First installment will be due September 4th. Second installment will be November 4th. Williamson County, I believe they are looking at, I believe October and November are the dates that their installments are gonna be due.
They'll have to come out in September then, right?
Yeah, it's about 30 days before.
Okay, all right. I thought they were a little behind. That affects us.
They just did a brand new software system revamped throughout the county, so they had to get everything uploaded from the old system into the new system.
Mr. Barkey, you mean Williamson did the upload, did a
They
new
did a whole new software
implementation?
system.
Is it, yeah.
A couple of meetings ago, we talked about tuition increases.
Yes.
Where are we at on that?
We are starting to, Dr. Overstreet, Dr. Hartford and I are starting to talk about that because it is our wish to create a tuition and fee process that will be predictable each year, that we will present at the same time each year. And so that the board is aware that at any given month, that we're going to have certain discussions. So we're starting to look into that. I've done a little bit of work in regard to just inventorying fees. Dr. Richard, I suspect that your experience at SIU would confirm that that fees just happen. And you have to be very careful periodically to gather them all, make sure that they're all defined properly and that they cover the costs that they are designed to cover, that they're in the correct funds, that they're covering the right things. And that's the first step for me, is to inventory all of those to be sure that we have sort of a data dictionary in regard to our fees. At that point, then I will be going back to Dr. Overstreet and Dr. Hartford with not a cost finding, but a revenue finding at various levels for different types of costs, because we have variable tuition. And so it's not as straightforward as saying, okay, $140 a credit times how many credits. We have all kinds of differentiating tuitions. So we're building that structure. It's also our plan to put together our annual agenda plan for each month, so that at any given point in the fiscal and academic years, that board meeting, you can count on this being fee discussion or tuition discussion or budgets or all of those fiscal related matters on a regular schedule. We took a look and we found that in the past several years, those discussions have been sort of all over the board. The three of us are really much more methodical than that, and we're saying, okay, no. We need to be very methodical about all of this, create a structure, make sure that the structure is something that we share with all of you and that is followed regularly. Trust is maintained by regular action. It's not maintained because somebody is brilliant once and 13 months later again and 2 months later again. It is the regular, consistent work, and that's one of our significant discussions at our Monday morning executive management sessions, is to get all of that in order. So we will be ready to talk to you about that in the upcoming couple of months.
Okay, with that, at this time, if it came up right now, I could not vote for a tuition increase. I mean, when you took a look at the insurance costs, rent, gas, groceries, utilities, the tariffs, clothing, even though our stock market's up, I don't know a whole lot of students can afford stocks, and, the inflation. I need you to keep all of that in mind.
We absolutely will, and in fact, one of the first things that I took a look at, because in the course of trying to bring a budget that balances to all of you, I needed to look at the length of time that it's been since we have increased tuition, which was 2021. And the type of inflation that the college itself has had to bear, not just in utilities and that kind of thing, but also in regard to wages, so that our employees are not harmed by the CPI effects that they're living with on a daily basis. We're keeping all of that in mind, excuse me. And one of the other things that I would tell you is that a significant discussion that we're having, and I say discussion like it happened once. Oh no, this is unfortunately a regular discussion. We are examining scholarship potentials as well as waivers, as well as financial aid, because when we increase tuition, we know that we're not increasing it at the gross increase. It's going to be netted down by scholarships that are something that the college provides, not foundation scholarships, which are literal dollars back to the college, but by scholarships that the college itself offers, by waivers, and by other opportunities that we grant our students. So we're looking at it not just as an increase in tuition, but what that gross increase nets to, and what it looks like for each individual student who has to write out a check, get a loan, that kind of thing. No, we're taking that extremely seriously.
Yeah, I'd like to see us running anybody off.
Oh, good Lord, no, that's absolutely not at all what we're looking at.
I want to make sure I understand what you just said, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to be issuing tuition and fee statements to students enrolled in fall semester here pretty soon. But
Yes.
we don't know yet what the fee structure is
Oh,
going to be?
no, Dr. Bashar, no. The tuition is the tuition. We will be coming to the board with a plan for future years.
Okay, I got you.
Yep, no, we're locked down on what it is. But as I'm trying to keep the budget in balance with one side of the equation going up and the other side not, to say the least, not. Especially when I look at the state contributions as well. Our 33 split of revenue is becoming very off balance. And so in addition to the effect on our students, I'm also looking at ICCB's desire and regulatory requirement that our revenue overall is split in thirds from those three sources. So this is not, we will not be coming to you to say, we'd like to increase tuition by X number of dollars. We will have a full package of what that looks like, gross and net. Because tuition is discounted heavily here for us, heavily.
When you present that, can you present the school equivalent as well? So that we know like what the funding actually looks like from all three sources?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, you see that source of funding in the budget reports, which, like I said, Mrs. Little, I'm really happy to talk budget if you'd like, but probably not tonight. But I do try to be sure that you're seeing all three of those component pieces, because that is part of our balancing act.
Any other questions of Dr. LePan? Hearing none, it brings us to item D, President's Cabinet. Do you have anything tonight?
I am going to ask Jennifer to stand up and just give us a briefing on a little bit about the legislative luncheon and things that are coming up.
Yes.
Okay.
On August 28th, we've invited all of the constitutional officers as well as every representative and senator, basically from Interstate 64 South, to come to this campus and join the regional community college presidents to talk about issues specific to community colleges in Southern Illinois. We've gotten great response so far. 3 of the 4 representatives have confirmed that they'll be here, and I've heard from several of the constitutional officers that are working through their scheduling. We've chosen this day specifically because it's the day of the DuQuoin State Fair Twilight Parade, so a lot of people are coming to town as a part of that as well. So I have a lot of optimism that we'll get a good turnout for this. All of the local community college presidents will be there as well. We're going to talk about workforce issues, economic impact of the community colleges in this area. I'm sure dual credit will be a part of this. I'm sure community college baccalaureates will be a part of this. A lot of those issues that we've been talking about over the last couple of years will continue to be a part. There are several meetings that week, as a matter of fact, leading up to the launch of the DuQuoin State Fair that will talk about those issues, and Dr. Overstreet and I are already on the list to make sure that we get to those and keep that message consistent throughout. So, Mr. Chairman, you'll be invited to that as well. We're including board chairs to come and be a part of it, or if you need to designate someone, if it's a bad day for you, we'd be happy to let that happen. So that information will be in your email inbox probably tomorrow. So I think that's all.
That's it.
I did want to mention too, one thing, before you meet again in August, the petition signatures will be available for the April 2027 trustee elections. I believe there are 3 seats that will be up for either re-election or election, depending on people's decisions. And I will be the person to see about that. It's my first one, so please give me a little bit of grace.
One more cabinet member, Steve, would you get up and just talk to a little bit about the DuQuoin State Fair?
Yes. For the last few years, we've worked with the ICCP in their tent. We're going to have a tent as well this year. I finished up some paperwork with them today. We will also get the Twilight Parade. Speaking of the 28th, last year we drove the Fort Lightning. Driver went, and several of us went. Anyone that would like to participate in the parade can contact me. We'll have the Lightning there. We tend to walk through the parade, but the entire you can jump in the truck for a little while. So we'll have more information coming out on some different things we're going to do at the fair. I think we are going to be located at the corner of Expo and Derby, so kind of on a main path there going through. So we'll have more information on that, but we did finish up the paperwork with them. So we will be at both tents, ICCP and our own tent this year.
Ask Steve to sort of theme it on our 60th anniversary coming up. So we'll start kind of celebrating our 60th anniversary out there at the fair. Any other cabinet members? I don't have anything specific for anyone. You all good? I can call on you if you like. All right, thank you all.
Moving on to item 7, informational items. Dr. Overstreet, will you please give us the rundown of the retirements, resignations, and promotions?
Yes. So we had no retirements. In resignations, we had Amy Specker, Mary Logan High School instructor, effective July 6, 2026. Jamie Hicks, Manager of Manufacturing Training, effective July 6, 2026. In the other category, we do have a mention of an hour, which we had to put into the board packet. I will mention, because it'll come up later in the consent agenda, that Mr. Hicks was hired to be the manufacturing manager. He was here on a Friday, and he resigned Monday. He was offered another job, so he had two offers. Well, he had our offer first, second offer came in somewhere between Friday and Monday, and the offer for Monday was, I think, more lucrative, so Mr. Hicks left. So we'll be posting for that position again in order to get that.
What if we don't hire him in the consent agenda?
Well,
To spite him for,
so I think that we would get a little bit of trouble with our general counsel because he did work one day and we do owe him for the day.
all right, fine.
So we do have to hire him for the day and let him resign.
Any questions? And then informational item B, could you please go over dark trace for us?
Yeah, I could actually ask, is Scott still with us or did he hide away? He hid away. Darktrace is the product that we utilize to safeguard most of our computer systems here on campus for cyber. It's our cybersecurity monitoring and response program. This is year 3 of 3 of a contract that we had with them. And so you actually voted on this 3 years ago, and this is just the final payment of $175,000 for this year. You can probably look, and there's Scott, he must have heard his name. You can probably guarantee, if we haven't already put this in for next year, we'll be putting in a new 3-year contract. They've been very good in keeping us safe here on campus.
Any questions? Hearing none, that brings us to item 8, the consent agenda will require a roll call vote. I would.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda items A through R.
Second.
Motion by trustee Rendelman, second by trustee Little. Ms. Vaughn, roll call please.
Brent Clark, Bill Kilquist.
Yes.
Mandy Little.
Yes.
Glenn Pichard.
Yes.
Jake Riddleman.
Yes.
Becky Borgsmiller.
Yes.
Ferris McAvoy. And Aaron Smith.
Yes. On to item 9, no action required. The first reading of the board policy revisions that trustee Borgsmiller pointed to earlier. They are here for your reading and our action next month. So, there are no questions on that. Is there any need for executive session? On to item 11, announcements.
There was one. The note from Greg is in there.
Yeah, so I can talk to that just briefly. Greg has put in an invitation for the board members to attend the Johnny Logan College Athletics Balls Night Out. It'll be held over at Black Diamond, the Thrillville Thrill House in Marion. This will be a welcome to all of our athletes. And the athletic director is also going to allow me to speak and just visit and meet the athletes, as well as bringing in some of our student affairs folks to talk about some of the things that they have available to them as students here on campus. And then a nice way to meet and greet them. So if you can make the meeting, it's August 19th at 6 o'clock. Hope to see you there. It should be a nice evening. We'd like to get in front of the athletes, and we're utilizing this both as a welcome and then as sort of a mini orientation.
At the park,
No, it's
Yeah.
it's what the mall.
It's at the old mall,
Oh, the mall.
where you go in for where the arcade is now.
Like the
There's a
laser
right-hand
tag,
side.
all of that.
You can ride go-karts.
You
They're
can.
been there yet.
They're pretty serious. Again, a reminder to connect with Pixie if you would like some tickets to the game on Thursday. Anything else? Hearing nothing else, I would entertain a motion to.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Pichard, second by trustee Little. Ms. Vaughn.
Bill Kilquist.
Yes.
Mandy Little.
Yes.
Glenn Pichard. Jake Riddleman.
Yes.
Becky Borgsmiller.
Yes.
Brent Clark.